Hey friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse, turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. I know that you are getting really serious about building your business and you want to master this whole online marketing thing. And in order to build and scale your business so that you can work less and enjoy and earn more, you need a website. Well, if you don't have one, it can feel really overwhelming to think about creating one. How do I start? What platform do I use? What do I put on it? What does it look like? I'm not a copywriter. I'm not a designer. I'm not any of these things. I have no idea about coding, right? It can feel super overwhelming. Or you have a website, but you haven't done much with it. Maybe you're using the website templates that they provided you with in that platform, and you haven't seen much growth or much sales happening on your website. There could be some major things that you're missing because you just didn't really know what you were doing. That's okay. We all start there. But I want to invite you to a brand new masterclass that I haven't offered to my community outside of Grow Workspace. Now, I have a masterclass coming up. It's called How to Build a Wildly Profitable Website Without Knowing a Thing About Tech. This is for you if you have no website, or if you have one, but you didn't hire someone to build it for you and you want to make improvements. I'm going to teach you the 3 key things that you need to have a wildly profitable website and give you the confidence that you need to, because you don't need to be a tech wizard to build one. Okay. I'm also going to cover how to turn leads into customers on autopilot. And I'm going to teach you how to create lifelong customers from the start, because repeat customers create reoccurring revenue. This is how we can work less and enjoy and earn more in our lives. I don't care if you're in network marketing or you're a coach selling courses or programs, you can create repeat customers. I'm going to show you how to do that in this masterclass. So I want you to get on the wait list now for this masterclass. You can go to thechrissychin.com/website masterclass. And then when you get to that page, you're going to tell me basically if you're a coach or you're network marketing, you're going to click that button so you can go to the correct wait list. If you are both of them, maybe just pick the one that's more dominant. Don't worry, you'll get the best information that you need, even if you're doing both by just selecting one of those. Again, that's thechrissychin.com/website masterclass. What's up? Solo episode today. It's me here sharing my golden nuggets on creating content. I hear so much, and even I struggle with this at times, that creating content can be overwhelming. It can feel daunting. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to come up with all this new stuff to say and put it on my social media, or put it out there in a podcast or whatever it is. And it just feels overwhelming. It feels like you don't have the time to do it. Well, you know that I am here to help you work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. And part of that has to do with content creation and repurposing the content. Okay. That's kind of the key to creating a lot more content in less time. So let's talk about that. How can we turn one piece of content into 10 pieces of content to expand your reach? Because it's really important to expand your reach. You're building your business on the interwebs. You are trying to get your name out there to hundreds of thousands of people, because we know not 100,000 people or hundreds of thousands of people that you reach are going to come in and become customers. A small percentage of them will. And so we need to reach a lot of people. How do we do that? How do we get them to trust us? How do we get them to continue to follow us? Okay, we create really good content, and a part of, again, decreasing the overwhelm is taking one piece of content and turning it into 10. There's a whole other spider topics I could talk about this, like how to create good content. We'll make that another episode. But this episode is focusing on how to take one piece of content and turn it into 10 to expand your reach. So what does content do for us in our business? It builds the know, like, and trust factor. So when you're reaching people on the internet and they don't know you from Adam, you have to build trust with them. If they're going to come in and they're going to take your advice and they're going to spend money with you, they have to trust that you're giving them a good product. Okay. So some brands like Nike, they have a good trust factor. Maybe I've never purchased their shoes, but they've sold billions and billions of dollars worth of shoes. And I know that their shoes are not just falling apart when someone puts them on their feet, right? So I'm trusting them and I'm giving them money. But for content creators, we have to build trust. We're selling our knowledge, really, and our expertise, right? Or even if we have a physical product at the end of the day, for my affiliate marketers, my network marketers, we have that product. Everyone's selling that product. Why should I come to you? Why should someone come to you to get that product from you? Right. And so this content that you're building or creating builds this know, like, and trust factor. They get to know you. They decide whether or not they like you. And not everyone will. Okay, it's okay. Not everyone is going to like you. I'm going to just break the bad news to you right now. The idea is that you really are your true self so that you can attract the people that will like you for you. We don't want to be fake. We don't want to attract people. And then they find out the real us. And then they're like, nope, not my kind of person. Right. So we want them to figure out if they like us. They're going to do that through connecting with our content. You're doing that right now through listening to my podcast. Do you like me? Right? Maybe you've been here for a long time. You've decided, yes, you do like me and you want to keep listening. Okay. And then the trust factor. So through our content, we're building trust. Maybe we're giving some advice and they're going to go out and try it. And if it works, they're going to maybe trust us more. Okay. They're going to see through our testimonials that we have from people, maybe on our website, they're going to decide if they trust us enough to take that next step, to buy that product from us, to purchase that course, to let us lead them in a program, right? To let us be their coach. Okay. So that's what free content does for people. It allows them to get a taste for who we are, what we're all about, how we work, so that when they go spend the money with us, they know what they're getting. People don't want to spend money on things they don't know what they're getting. Okay. So they need to get to know, like, and trust you. So that's the point of creating this content and free content. Why do we want to expand our reach? Well, hello, to build our business. I mentioned before that you can reach hundreds of thousands of people, but not everyone is going to purchase with you. A small percentage is going to purchase with you. And so you need to reach the masses. Now, you don't need to reach millions of people, but you need to reach a decent amount of people so you can generate that 1,000, subset group of super fans. You can build a massive business with 1,000 super fans. You can build a really good business. You can reach 6 figures with 100 super fans, or even less, depending on what your product is, how much you're selling, and in the time frame of that, you're going to make that $100,000. Okay. If you have $1,000 product, you can sign up 100 people and make $100,000, right? Okay. So why else are we talking about this? How to turn one piece of content into 10 to save us time. How's it going to save us time? Well, by taking one thing and multiplying it, turning it into different things, it's saving us time, right? We don't have to create one thing for one platform and another thing for another platform. We're going to take one thing and we're going to transform it into 10 things to reach more people, and it's going to save us time. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about taking one piece of content, and specifically a long form piece of content. So I don't know if you've heard me talk about this before, but there's long form, short form. Long form is where, like this, you're listening to me on the podcast. Maybe you're watching me on YouTube. You get to listen to an extended time period of me sharing information. A blog post could be a piece of long form content. What's short post? Short form is a social media post, a little 1 minute blip of something. That's short form. You're just getting a small piece of it. Okay, so let's specifically take something of long form content and let's turn it into 10 things. Now, long form could be a Facebook Live or a Facebook video, could be a podcast recording that would be considered long term, a blog post, a YouTube video. Those are all considered long form content. So let's take one of those. And you should be creating at least one of those every single week. So I've got my podcast that's going out every single week. That's my one long form piece of content. I'm putting it out every single week. Usually I take a little break during the holidays. Some people would say, no, don't do that. It's working fine for me. Okay. And then we're going to turn it into some other things. So what is it that you're creating right now? Are you doing some Facebook Lives? Are you doing Zoom videos? Are you recording a podcast? Are you a blogger? Do you make YouTube videos? So pick that one thing and then start there and then create all of this around that. So I'm going to start with a Facebook Live. My starting point is actually a podcast. Maybe we'll start with a podcast. Okay. So my starting point is a podcast. I record a podcast. I'm recording right now and I'm recording it in a video mode. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're actually seeing this long form on a YouTube video. Okay. If you're a podcaster, you're listening via podcast right there. I'm taking the exact same content, the same audio file from this video, and it's going into the podcasting platform. And then I'm taking the video, which is the audio and the visual of it, and we're uploading it to YouTube. Okay. A little tip and trick here is to take your video that you record. So always record video so we can see that visual. Make sure you have a really good sounding audio. Okay. Because it's mostly important to hear someone versus seeing, unless they have to see what's on your screen. But for this, you don't have to. Okay. And edit that video to your liking. Maybe a child yells in the background and you have to cut that part out. Okay, edit the video first. And then once the video is done being edited, extract the audio and poof, right there, you have multiple forms of content. Now take this video, upload it to YouTube on your YouTube channel. Okay, take the audio, upload it to your podcasting platform. There's free options. Both of those platforms can be free for you if you want. Take that video, you could upload it onto your Facebook page as well. Maybe your people are hanging out on Facebook. Maybe they don't use YouTube. And so you upload that video onto Facebook. On the flip side, you could take a Facebook Live and you could take that live video and you could turn it into a podcast. You could turn it into a YouTube video, or you could take what you're recording for YouTube, as long as you're not having to show them these little intricate pieces online, like a tutorial showing someone how to use something. You could easily turn that into a podcast or put it on your Facebook. Okay, right there, there's 3 kind of video audio files. What's another way we can take this content and turn it into a long form, but another way that people consume content? Well, we've done video and audio together. What if someone can't listen? What if someone can't watch and listen? They can read, right? So we take this content and we turn it into a blog. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. You can turn it into a legit blog. That's your title. You've got different headlines, subheadlines, content in there, and that's your blog. Or you can take the transcript of your video, of your audio, and you can turn that into a blog. And I would still add headlines, subheadlines for SEO purposes, search engine optimization purposes. So that means that when people are typing things in, looking for, how do I turn, one piece of content into 10, or how do I create content? The interwebs, Google is searching my content and saying, oh, Chrissy's talking about that. Let's put this blog post in front of this person. Okay. So I would still do that. Either way, basically, you're just going to want to figure out what's going to be the best method for you. For a while, I was just doing transcripts And because the company that was editing my podcast episodes, that I think that was just easier for them. But we do realize that the way that we speak is sometimes a little bit hard to read. And so we've just now switched to kind of taking this content and turning it into a true blog post that's a little bit easier to read. And there's not a lot of fluff with the weird like ums or me repeating or, whatever, like this sentence right now. We would probably cut this out of the blog post. So anyway, the point is to take your video, turn it into audio, take your audio, turn it into a transcript or some type of readable version, text version, so people can consume that all in long form. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 long form options here. Facebook, putting it on Facebook, a podcast recording, a blog post, and a YouTube video. Okay, that's 4 right there. Then from that content, let's create some short form content. Okay, let's turn some of the content into an audiogram. What is an audiogram? An audiogram is taking a short snippet of the content and plucking that out and sharing it in various places, sharing it on different social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube has little like short videos you could do. Okay, I don't remember what they're called. I'm totally drawing a blank, but if you go in there, you can kind of see. Why do I want to say like kickstart? No, it's not, definitely not that. Okay, so anyway, there's these little places. So that's another way to take your content, turn it into a short snippet. And my recommendation here for your audiogram is to take one of the best, most empowering things that you've said, like that light bulb moment, that like little brain emoji with the poof that's happening. Take that piece of content and put that in a 1-minute clip so that you can use that to promote your long form content. We want to drive the traffic to this long form content so they can get more from you, get to learn more. Okay, so we've got an audiogram, that's 5. We can turn, if you're an Instagram user, you can turn the content into a carousel. What's a carousel? Instagram has sort of changed recently to not a picture platform, but a video platform, an interactive platform. So a carousel is taking still images, and the idea is that one follows the other. So you're posting up to 10, I don't know by the time you listen to this or down the road if they've changed this, but right now you can put 10 pictures in one post. And so the idea is to create basically a series of images where someone will want to swipe left to get to that next picture, swipe again to get to the next picture, to get that next message. So what can you take from that long form content, turn it into a carousel to kind of give an idea of what you're talking about to promote that long form content? So for this episode, I would create a carousel, 10 images, and I would say, how to take one piece of content and turn it into 10. And maybe I start with or how to take a podcast and turn it into 10 pieces of content, or how to take a Facebook Live and turn it into 10 pieces of content. Swipe left. Create a podcast out of your audio from your video. Swipe left. Upload your video to YouTube. Swipe left. Create a blog post out of the content. Swipe left, create a carousel, right? So they're wanting to swipe through these images to see what I have to say. And then there can be a little short blurb in the caption of your post that just says, for more insider tips on this, or to learn how to do this, or to get more information, go listen to my podcast or go watch my YouTube video, wherever you're really trying to drive traffic to. Okay, so that's another little piece of content. What about turning it into a reel? It's one of those short videos, kind of interactive videos that you would post on Instagram. You could do a 6-second video. People don't want to sit there for a minute, by the way, and watch your reel unless you're really good. Okay, so grab a 6-second, make a 6-second video. For this, I would do like a little 6-second video of me recording, right? So if I had a camera set up beside me and it's literally taking video of me recording. And I might say turn your podcast into 10 pieces of content. And then maybe like that next little scene is like a poof. And I've got like all the different kinds of blog, YouTube video, carousel, reel, audiogram, all pops up on the screen so they can see. Quick video, another little form of content, piece of content, all taken from this one concept, this one long form content that you've created. All right, I don't know what number we're on, but we'll just keep going. Okay, email. So you can create an email with this content. Now, an email is obviously reaching the people that you already have on your list, but it's really important instead of like reaching the masses out there, but it's really important that you continue to nurture your people. So again, a whole other topic on how to get people on your email list. I'll definitely do an episode on that. But once they're on there, you have to continue to get them to know, like, and trust you. And how do you do that? You're doing that through your weekly long form content. Well, let's create an email. Let's craft an email to promote that content, right? Share some of the insights and then say, go listen to the full episode. Okay. Another way to do that, another piece of content to create is creating a Pinterest post. I'm not super savvy in Pinterest, but people search for things on Pinterest. So if they're searching for the problem or the solution to their problem and you're offering the solution, then they'll be finding your content. Or take a clip, maybe it's a little bit longer clip, and you share that on LinkedIn, and then you're directing them to the full episode, or you're just taking that, whichever, again, you want to drive traffic to, if it's the YouTube video, and sharing it on LinkedIn. Okay, I think we've reached 10 there. There's obviously others. You can create a quick little Twitter post. Twitter, is that what they call it? I'm not big on Twitter either. A little Twitter thing. Lots of different things that you can do, but here's the simple way to take one piece of long form content and turn it into 10 things. Okay, so we've got a Facebook video, podcast recording, blog post, YouTube video are our 4 main long form videos. Then we can turn it into a carousel, a reel, an audiogram, an email, a post for Pinterest, and a post for LinkedIn. Okay, that's 10 different ways that we've taken this content and turned it in or shared it on different platforms to expand our reach. The people that are on Pinterest will see it on Pinterest. The people that are on LinkedIn will see it on LinkedIn. The people that are hanging out on Instagram, binging on reels will see your reel. Okay, YouTube people that are searching for that solution on YouTube are going to find your video. So I don't want you to think of getting on all these different platforms as super overwhelming. We want to take this one piece of content, we want to turn it into multiple so we can reach people in different areas where they are hanging out. Okay. And a little bonus tip for you is to take this one piece of content or this idea that you're talking about, and then let that break off into other ideas that you can create topics for. So I know the next question is, or one of the questions is, how do I come up with all this content? How do I come up with all the things that I'm going to talk about? First, you should be listening to your audience and understanding what their problems are, what they're asking questions about. Are people asking you questions? Are you telling them to ask you questions? You should be. Like, I want you guys to like write in. Send me a message on Instagram. Send me a little comment below YouTube, right here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, in the comments below, I want you to tell me what's one other thing, maybe it's around this topic of content creation, that you would really like to learn about, or you kind of have questions about, or you just want a faster, more efficient way to do something. Put it in the comments. And then I'll see that and I'll say, hey, I can create a podcast on this, which will turn into a YouTube video and will turn into a blog post. All of that. This podcast episode stemmed from one of our Digital Duplication Academy students saying and asking questions about creating content, and said, oh, that would be a great podcast. How to repurpose the content. Because Chrissy, I see you sharing stuff everywhere. So I want to learn more about that. What should I be creating? Right? Okay, so that this little bonus tip is to get new ideas based on what you're talking about and what people are asking for. So in the beginning of this episode, I already said like that could be a whole other podcast topic, like how to get people on your email list from your free content. Whole other podcast topic. So now I can go do another podcast, which would be another blog post, another YouTube video, another reel, another carousel, all because I was talking about this and it kind of stemmed and broke off into another idea. Bite-sized little pieces. Podcasts don't have to be long. They could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They could be short. Okay. So don't feel like you have to come up with an hour's worth of content to be teaching. What does your audience want? Do they only have time for 5 minutes? Create a 5-minute video, a 5-minute podcast. It doesn't have to be super long. Okay. I want you to remove that association from your brain that like a podcast has to be an hour long. It doesn't. It can be whatever works for you and for your audience. Okay. I do have another episode. Gosh, I think it was in season 1. It was I did a series. It was Build a Badass Brand on Social Media. And I think it was part 3. We'll link that in the show notes here, which just a little secret, the show notes to my podcast are typically my blog post. So that's kind of twofold. Just make the show notes and turn it into a blog post. But I think it's part 3 where I talk about identifying the pillars of your brand. And then from those pillars, coming up with ideas for content. So if you need some more ideas on how to know what to create content about, if you're kind of like, that should be like obviously I did that episode long ago. So if you've been listening, you've gotten that content and now you're like, all right, how do I take the content and turn it into 10? But if you kind of missed that step, go back and listen to that episode, or maybe listen to the entire series. It's a 3-part series. Build Your Badass Brand on Social Media. That's season 1 of the podcast. I hope that this was valuable for you. I hope that it decreases a little bit of the overwhelm, realizing and understanding that you can take one piece of long form content and turn it into quite a bit of content to share on various places. The second tip that I have is taking the content that you have created already and repurposing it in a sense of not creating something new, but like actually resharing it. So taking that reel that you created and in 3 months, maybe you've been talking more about that topic, reshare that reel. You don't have to make a brand new one. Now, I do want you to continue to make new content every single week, like long form content, so that you have something fresh and new that you're sharing and teaching. But you can take some of these older social posts and reshare them. There's been content creators that I've been following for years. And every couple months, I kind of see, oh, I've seen that reel before. Does that mean I stop following them? I unfollow them like, oh my gosh, they're posting the same thing. No. Now, if they were doing the same thing every week and just repeating every week, then there would be no reason to continue to follow them. But they kind of sprinkle these reposts in on occasion. And so I'm like, oh, I've seen that. But lots of new people have come in. There's lots of people that haven't been following them for 2 years. And this is the first time they're seeing that reel. And not everyone goes back and looks at all of the posts that you've done or all of the reels that you've done on your social media. Or maybe you shared it in a story, you saved that story and you can share it to a post another time. Or you can reshare it to your story another time. Kind of space them out a little bit here and there, but you don't have to, for when it comes to social posting, you can literally repurpose the same piece of content that you've done and reshare it, reshare that post, reshare that reel. So that's another little bonus tip. I do still want you, like I said, creating a new long form piece of content every single week, but maybe you end up making 3 reels out of it or 2 carousels out of it or a post and 2 posts out of it or something. And then you repurpose those kind of down the road. You're talking about that topic again. Why? Because we have to circulate the topic that you're talking about. You're getting new people coming in. They haven't heard your message before. So you need to be saying it over and over and over again. Okay, let's get this out of our head that like everything that comes out of my mouth has to be brand new. No, it doesn't. You have brand new people coming in all the time, whether it's teaching someone how to use your products, or it's teaching someone about that topic that you teach. You have brand new people coming in that have never heard that before, and they need to hear it. So you can say it again, or you can say it in a little bit different way, put a little bit different spin on it. Maybe you've learned a little bit more and you can expand on that. And sometimes people need to hear a message that they've heard now. They hear it again in 3 months and they get a totally different takeaway from it because they're at a different point in their life. They're now actually focusing on that thing and they can get a different message out of it. So it's okay to also kind of take this idea. I've probably mentioned repurposing content at some point in some episode, and now I'm creating a dedicated episode on it. Okay. For the people that haven't heard it before, this is brand new to them. For the people that have gotten an inkling of me talking about it, we're just diving a little bit deeper, going into the depths of this. All right. So that's it for the episode. I want you to go out there. I want you to get a notepad or on your phone and just start writing down some ideas on things that you can talk about for a little bit of an extended period of time, or go out and ask your community, ask your audience, what do you guys want to learn about? What are you curious about? What are the things that you're working on right now, focusing on? And then you know that you can create content based off of that, and that will be super relevant for them. We want the content to be relevant for the people that are following you. So go ask them what they want to learn about or what they're working on, and then create that content based on what they've said. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys later. Before you go, do not forget to get on the wait list for my new masterclass, How to Build a Wildly Profitable Website Without Knowing a Thing About Tech. I have run this masterclass for my Grow Workspace community. They have loved it. I'm finally opening the doors to you over here. So if you want to learn how to turn your leads into customers on autopilot, how to create repeat customers that generate reoccurring income right from the start, and you don't feel like you're super techy, or maybe you just want to learn from someone who knows a whole lot more and has been doing this a whole lot longer than you, get on the wait list. It's thechrissychan.com/website masterclass. And there you'll be able to tell me if you're a coach or if you're in network marketing to get on the correct list. Again, if you are both of those things, I know there's a lot of you for both, just pick the one that you focus on most. Don't worry, you'll get the information that you need for both of those. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that, so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips, is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube, and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.